It's Friday here on the PHNX Sun Devils show, of course, presented by Branded Bills. Make sure you head to brandedbills.com and use code PHNX for 15% off your first order. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Erik Ruby. Of course, we got the Daily Man behind his own personal Mac, making all of the magic happen. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Got Emily and Chris in the chat supporting the Arizona State Sun Devils. And Rubus, here we are, man. The Arizona State Sun Devils just a day away from kickoff. Week 3, taking on the Texas State Bobcats. How we feeling? Obviously, we've got a guest a little bit later on. We got predictions. We got so much to get to. But just immediately, I say ASU kicking off against Texas State tomorrow. How we feeling?
I'm feeling like Chris in the chat.
Please win.
Please win. Please win. Please. 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 Not just like win, but like capital
win.
W. Like win.
All caps. All caps, honestly.
All caps. I mean, I'll take a capital W. I'll take a capital W win this weekend. As long as there's some capital in there. Everybody's asking about the hat. Of course, it's a Branded Bills hat, Sun Angel Collective hat. Sorry, but Shane Dieffenbach is very jealous of this hat, and I don't blame him. It's a nice hat right here. This is maybe my favorite.
Selfish.
Maybe my favorite. Yeah, I know. Shane's not happy that I didn't leave it for him. Jacob said, I'd love a 20-point dub. Of course, the Fonge, Jacob Franklin in the chat. I mean, we'll have Andrew Zimmel, who hosts the Texas State podcast. We'll have him on later in the show. And obviously kind of like a lot of the vibes around Texas State is, hey, don't sleep, right? Don't sleep on us. We're better than you would expect. And I do think that they're a good football team, right? I think it's probably the second best football team that Arizona State's going to play this year. I think Mississippi State will end up probably being the best out of these.
Just a non-con.
Non-con.
Okay.
So far. Baylor, you suck. TCU, you suck. Utah, you suck.
But Texas State, here you are, man.
Texas State, second best team to play all year. No, but I feel like despite Texas State actually, being a good football team, this is the week that hopefully Arizona State wakes up, right? We hear about the sleeping giant from a large scale perspective about ASU football and the program in general. Like, they've been a sleeping giant so far this year. I mean, this was, again, the number 11 team in the country just a couple of weeks ago. Now the number 26 team in the country, if you're going by AP, 24 by coaches, at home against a near sold out crowd again. And I respect to Texas State, but like the group of 5 school that got 30 plus hung on them by UTSA, right? Like Arizona State needs to capital W win tomorrow.
Yeah, Parker in the chat says the get right game. M obviously saying please win convincingly. I think this needs to be not just a convincing win, not just a get right game, but this is a game for Arizona State where you need to prove it now. You need to prove a point that not only was the first 2 weeks of the season just you getting right, but I think you also need to prove the fact that you're still a team that can compete in this conference, right? Because you look around this conference right now, and there's obviously some decent matchups tonight. But over the first couple weeks of the season, we've seen the pecking order. We've seen the teams right now that we feel like, and most people feel like, are going to be the competitors in the Big 12 in 2025. Baylor, obviously, getting a massive win last weekend. You look at Utah and what they've been able to do in non-con, just running over the competition. Iowa State is obviously a big piece of that Big 12 pie right now. And then on the flip side of that, you look at Kansas State, a team that everybody going into this season had really, really high hopes for, high expectations for as well. And they have fallen flat on their face. Obviously, a chance to rebound tonight against the Arizona Wildcats. But which side are you going to be on? And this is a game for Arizona State that I think is going to tell a lot of folks which side they're on. Are you on the side that can still be competitive? Are you on the side that is going to be a team that is going to be playing for a Big 12 championship or playing to be in a Big 12 championship in just a few short months? Or are you on the other side here? And are you a team that is going to be fighting for bowl eligibility? Are you going to be a team that is, middle of the pack, which, hey, there's nothing wrong with being a middle of the pack team, but that's not what this standard is. That's not what Kenny Dillingham, what Graham Rossini, what Sam Leavitt, what all these guys have aspirations to do. And of course, they're going to tell you the aspirations are to just get better each and every day, right? The coach speak there, which obviously Kenny is genuine with it every single day. But at the end of it, if you're playing great football, if you're playing perfect football, if you're playing your Arizona State brand of football, then guess what? The wins are going to come. And you're going to find yourself competing for another Big 12 championship in December. So this game against Texas State, for me, Ruby, I'm not going to call it a must win because it's week 3. And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter until you get to conference play. But it does feel like a must win game in the sense of you proving to everybody and yourself that you still got it.
It's a must win game. It's a must-win game. You can't drop to under 500 on the season. You just
in
non-con, right? And I say it's a must-win while acknowledging that technically speaking, there is still a chance that the team does what we expected them to do and talked about them doing for the last 8 months, right? But this is absolutely a must-win because of the caliber of opponent. They're a good enough team to where you can walk away from a win and be like, okay, that's not like we beat Weber State, right? It's not Portland State like BYU beat up on, right? It's not Arkansas Pine Bluff, right? It's a good football program with a great head coach and very talented players, right? But it's a must-win because you're back at home. You cannot lose in front of these fans right now. You just cannot do it, right? It's a must-win for you internally in your program. Not that they're going to give up after this, but you need to prove it to yourself on a play-in, play-out basis that you are as dominant as you have been preparing yourself to be for this entire offseason. And quite literally in the standings, you need to do this. It's a must win if you want to salvage any awards talk for your top of the top, which I understand it's, that's at the bottom of the list for these guys, but that's still something that's important for this program. This is about as must win as a week 3 game against Texas State at home can be. Right. Yeah. This is about as big as it could possibly get for a matchup against a group of 5 team at home in non-con for a Big 12 team that was previously ranked the number 12 team in the country before last weekend.
Yeah, I think that's 100% fair. Let's go and take a look at the positional breakdown, the matchups that we have this week. How does Arizona State shake up against Texas State? The first time, Erik, that we see the opposition have an edge over Arizona State, and it is on the offensive line. Texas State, as it stands right now, I believe has the heaviest offensive line in all of college football. I believe the second highest is Texas A&M, an 11-pound advantage for Texas State. They got the beef up front, but Erik, Arizona State, in theory, has the advantage everywhere else.
What were those 2 words again?
It depends. I'm going to be honest. I have no idea which ones you're looking for from me. The beef up front? In theory. There you go. In theory.
Look, the last 2 weeks, it was all green on ASU's side. And I think going into the game, it was rightfully so to say that. What this is showing us and what it showed us last week is that this graphic, it's beautiful, does not matter when the ball is snapped.
No.
Right? You could have the quarterback advantage.
That's the thing, is it should matter. Arizona State should have the advantage everywhere.
It should. If everybody plays to the level that they are supposed to and the standard that they should be held to, right? Which is something that we've spent this entire week talking about. They have not done. Can they? Yes. Have they? Absolutely not. Right. So all those green arrows, right? And trust me, we see the responses. We saw the responses from the Mississippi State fans, right? When we posted, oh, I thought you guys had the advantage in every single category. It doesn't matter when the game is played, right? The best teams lose. The better team loses. The most talented teams lose against way less talented teams. Power 4 teams lose to group of 5 teams, right? Like these are things that happen in real life, right? Yeah. Like these are things that happen when sports are actually played. Like this is all well and good. You can, in theory, on paper, have every advantage and matchup in the world. But if you play football like you've been playing football this season, there's a chance that you walk out of Mountain America Stadium under 500 after non-con, following up on a college football playoff season, right? Like that's the thing that I think they understand now at this point. And what we all hope they took away from that first half in Mississippi State, they saw the response, they saw what they needed to do, and now they're going to walk out this week. And like you mentioned earlier, they've already been punched in the mouth. They already know that having the talent advantage doesn't matter. They already know that that number next to your name doesn't matter. What happens is how do you execute and how well do you play when you step in between those lines and you play some damn football? And that is exactly what they need to do this Saturday, is go and play some damn football. Like they need to get out of their own heads. They need to be confident and they need to get right game going into a very, very tough start to Big 12 play next weekend.
I think the thing for me, before we hit a break here, I think when we talk about this matchup right now for Arizona State and Texas State, you've watched obviously every snap, I should say every snap of the first half against NAU, and then you've obviously watched the entirety of what happened against Mississippi State. I think for me, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, and Shane in the chat as well, but I think we're seeing so much hero ball, right? We're seeing the quote unquote talent that we've discussed all offseason that everybody's made a big deal about, and I think rightfully so, right? The Sam Leavitts of the world, the Kyson Browns, the Jordyn Tysons defensively, the Alfords, the Abneys, the Elliots, etc. You have seen so many of these guys try and put it all on their back, right? To say, you know what, like I'm a star. I got league aspirations. We got to get back to the Big 12 championship. And it almost feels like they have to go do it themselves. Right now, I don't know, again, like if that's their own internal pressure that they're putting on themselves, maybe that's just me seeing something incorrectly here, but it does feel like that. It feels like certain individuals are having to go above and beyond to try and win football games and try and win drives and win snaps for Arizona State. When the reality of the situation, what made this team so damn good in 2024, Erik, is yes, you obviously had the sprinkle that Cam Skattebo brought to the offense. There's no denying that, right? From a toughness, from a talent, and from a productivity standpoint. But I think what made ASU so special last year, watching it and watching every game, was the fact that this was a team, that every single individual was doing their 111 that they have to do out there, right? 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, 11 guys on special teams. Go do your job. And if everybody does their job, which again is cliche, it's coach speak, etc., then this team is talented enough to beat anybody in this conference. It's talented enough to run the table. They were talented enough from the jump to go 12-0 and repeat as Big 12 champions. The talent level is there. I know I've had people on social question the talent level of this team. The talent is there. How do I know the talent's there? Guess what? The only program that has more returning talent than this team that went to the CFP last year, that won the Big 12 championship handedly with no doubts, is Clemson. The only other team in college football that has as much returning production. So that's how I know the talent is there. That's how I know that the talent on this roster is capable of repeating. But it almost is kind of what I tweeted last week watching Sam Leavitt early on against Mississippi State. I said, man, Sam just needs to take a breath, right? Just breathe. Right? Like you're almost doing too much. What did we say the other day? Right? Like being the machine instead of running the machine. Mm-hmm. I think when we look at what happens against Texas State on Saturday night, I think it has to be everybody doing their job. And from time to time, you can have that scat sprinkle, right? Is it Sam? Sure. Is it Tyson? Sure. Is it Shaman? Sure. Is it Kanye? Sure. I don't think it matters who gives you that little bit of an extra flair at the end of the day on offense and go or defense and has their moment. But it all starts with everybody just doing their job from that first whistle to the last whistle, man. It's that easy.
Yeah, I mean, look, the hero ball thing, I think, is poignant because, and I forget who said it. I think it was somebody in our chat. I think so, where it's like, maybe this non-con going into it felt like more of a showcase for some of the top end talent for Arizona State. And that's not, I don't even think that that's really on like the players. Like when you hear Kenny Dillingham sit down after a game and say that they got out coached or he's not putting his guys in the best position to succeed or whatever. Like, I think those things kind of go hand in hand, right? Where it's like, hey, we're going to trust our guy, which is like good. You should trust your guys, right? But we're going to trust our guys to go out there and to make these big plays and to will us to a victory. And, we're going to be prepared, and we're going to I don't ever think they're not prepared, but maybe it's just like they didn't have this emphasis on we need to be fully together and exhaust, I guess not all of our options, but more of our options, in order to succeed in non-con. Right? It's like, okay, Sam Leavitt, go start your Heisman campaign. Okay, Jordyn Tyson, go start your Heisman campaign. Okay, Xavion Alford, go start your All-America team campaign. You too, CJ Fight, right? Like, here are things that you guys can do, and by God, you probably can win a game doing that. But like you mentioned last year, like there were multiple games where it was Cam Scadaboo heroics saved or put you back into the game. But you don't win that many games, and you don't win that convincingly on that high of a level with just Cam Scadaboo, right? It's disrespectful to everybody else. Now, you don't get there without Cam Scadaboo. You take Cam Scadaboo away from that team. It is a significantly worse football team that does not do any of the stuff that they do. Are they terrible? No. But are they nearly as good? Absolutely not. But this is a team that gained more talent over the offseason, that should have internal development over the offseason and going into this one. And now it's, I like what Kenny said about they had their best offensive practice this week. That makes me feel good because he is very candid about that stuff. He's not the type of guy to just go and lie to you about how good of a practice they had. We've heard about getting more people involved in the office, which I think should be a baseline, not a luxury. And if you can do all of that, the dominoes will fall for your top end talent to take advantage, right? If you get everybody else involved, you're going to be able to get the ball to Jordyn Tyson in some more effective ways. Sam Leavitt's going to be able to calm down if you're able to establish the run game and get the running backs involved, even with presumably no Kyson Brown this weekend, right? Like, these are things that, like, this is a team. It all folds in together, right? It's like a deck of cards, and you're like, I don't know how to shuffle it, like how people can do that. Like, I'm not good at that. My mom can do it really well. I can't. But
I love you going into a metaphor or analogy without being
like, I can't do it, but man. Like, that's what the team needs to do, right? Like, it feels like they've been shuffling it how I would shuffle it, where they just kind of take you just take everything and just kind of mash it together and then
see what happens, man.
Yeah, they need to all fall together. It all needs to come together and needs to be layered, and then hopefully the cards that you're dealing, you get blackjack. Bang. There's the analogy for you. Bang.
I love it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I see some questions in the chat. We'll get to those along with heat index predictions, our guest of the hour, and so much more on the other side of our first break. Look, I want to tell you a little bit about our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. First and foremost, at Gila River Resorts Casinos, nobody does it better. Of course, we've done a ton of PHNX events at Wild Horse Pass, but the fun isn't reserved just for that one spot. Go check out any of their 4 locations. Of course, Lone Butte, Bequiva, Santan Mountain, to experience the best that the Valley has to offer. Maybe you are looking for a little bit of a staycation, or if you are looking to win big on the gaming floor, maybe you want to go place your sports bets at their sports book. All of the things, a steak dinner, an evening by the pool, you could do it all over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Go big and go home a winner. You could do it all over at Gila River Resorts Casinos. And like Ruby and I always tell you, you do you at Gila River Resorts Casinos. Make sure you visit playatgila.com for more details.
Listen, I'm a sunglasses guy for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I got really sensitive eyes, man. I don't really know what else to tell you. And that's why I love Shady Rays, because before Shady Rays came into my life, I was breaking sunglasses left and right because they were just ultra cheap, right? I didn't want to spend big money on super high-end sunglasses and then lose them, because I always lose them. But with Shady Rays, it's a great price and it's in incredible, impeccable quality. You see it on Anthony Totri's face there. I feel left out because mine are in my car right now.
Man. Sorry.
But no, I love Shady Rays. And the best part is if you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays is going to send you a brand new pair with no guilt trip, just replacements. That's an eyewear company that has your back, and we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com, use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. High quality polarized sunglasses. That's code PHNX for 35% off. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
I love it. Look, I also want to give out a shout out to everybody watching live, everybody in the chat, everybody listening on audio after the fact, or maybe tuning in on a separate time. Just keep appreciate running. Everybody taking some time out of their day to just chill and talk about the Arizona State Sun Devils ahead of a big Week 3 matchup against Texas State. It does indeed mean a whole hell of a lot. Rubus, do we get into heat index? A couple Arizona State Sun Devils that can go have some big outings, or maybe need to have some big outings.
The first ever heat index with 35 players on it. No, yeah, this is going to be good. I think we definitely jump into this now.
Let's do it. Let's take a look at 3 Arizona State Sun Devils that need to have a big game against Texas State, starting with the QB1. That is, of course, Sam Leavitt. You'll notice all 3 individuals have 3 fire emojis, meaning they all need to go have some big games. This would be big for Sam Leavitt if he could have himself an outing against Texas State. Erik, especially with Big 12 play looming, you need to see Sam Leavitt's best.
For a lot of reasons, right? It's almost just as important as a win is for Sam Leavitt to walk out of this game once again, putting something on paper that says I'm the best quarterback in the Big 12. Sam Leavitt has all the talent in the world. I think he has a great mindset. I think he's an incredible quarterback with an extremely bright future. I also think he's somebody that was severely disappointing last weekend and has underperformed due to expectations throughout the season, despite good statistics against NAU, right? But when you look at Sam Leavitt and what he did for this team last year, and this kind of goes in hand with what we were talking about the team last year in Cam Scannaboo, that team does not do anything close to what it ended up doing without Sam Leavitt. It's just the truth. Yeah. And this season, he's even more important, right? Texas State does not have a shutdown defense. They do not have a shutdown secondary. You are going to be at home and not on the road in a loud and raucous environment. You have all your weapons. The coaches are saying they're going to put you in a better position.
Yeah.
For the fans, for the team, for him personally, for everything. Sam Leavitt needs to have a Heisman level game tomorrow. And I'm not afraid to say that. And I'm not going to get on him if he doesn't play a Heisman level game, but it's got to at least be good. He needs a Heisman level game. He can't afford to have another Mississippi State.
No, I don't think he needs to be the reason that Arizona State wins tomorrow, but I do think he needs to be the reason that they don't lose, if that makes sense.
Sure. As a baseline. That's a minimum.
As a minimum baseline, again, I think you bring up a very valid point with Arroyo and Kenny, kind of echoing the fact that they want to put Sam Leavitt in a better position to succeed, to get into a little bit more of a comfortable rhythm early on in the game and keep him in that rhythm throughout the contest. I think that is going to be something that everybody, I know I am most focused on that, to see what the early down play calling, the first quarter play calling looks like from Arroyo to Sam. Does anything change at the line of scrimmage this week with what Sam is able to do? Are they going to maybe simplify it a little bit, or does Sam still have that level of control and it's more so they're just going to do a different job? I'm not going to say a better job, but a different job, maybe calling plays early on in downs and allowing Sam to get into a rhythm. So I think, yeah, you're right. He does need to go out there and have a monster game. Would be huge, not only for him confidence wise, but I think for the fan base to go out there and be like, you know what, we feel good. We got our guy, especially coming off the heels of a really unfortunate game against Mississippi State. But Sam's not the only player on offense, Erik, that needs to go out there and have a big game by my estimation. Heading to the running back room, Kanye Udoh also on the heat index this week with 3 fire emojis. Somebody that went over the century mark on the ground a week ago, had, shouldered the load of 20 plus carries, looked like he could be an every down back for Arizona State. Now, we know that's not necessarily the situation with Raleek and Tyson and all the different weapons that you do have in this backfield. But a Kanye Udoh game would be so awesome, especially knowing that a year ago, Texas State really defended the run well against these Arizona State Sun Devils.
Yeah, Kanye Udoh is one of those guys that when we talked about him when he committed here, it was literally this guy might be the heir apparent to what Cam Scatterboot just did, right? You look at how he ran, how big he was, the type of offense that he was putting on over there at Army. And it's like, this dude is the truth. Plus, he's a hard worker. He's a good guy. We've had him in studio. Hell, we ate hot wings with Kanye Udoh, right? But Kanye Udoh is almost like an X factor for the ceiling of this team. I think all the running backs are. If Kanye, Raleek, and then Kyson, when eventually he's back healthy, can all hit their peak around Sam Leavitt and around this offense, how the hell do you defend that, right? Like GJ Kenny talked about it in his press conference earlier this week where he was like, yeah, they've got, 2 first-round picks in Sam Leavitt and Jordyn Tyson, and they can air it out. He's like, and then they also have, 3 running backs who can put 100 on you. Right? Like Kanye Udoh could go for 150 in a game. Like, and that is
and
not,
you wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if he put up 150 this weekend. Right? Yeah. Just because that's the type of back that he can be. He can be a workhorse, but they don't need him to be this year. They need him to be high efficiency and maybe high volume here and there, but like he's such a different running back from Raleek that, you kind of owe it to both of them to give them their different looks. I will say, though, the same thing about the play calling. And one thing that I liked in the second half of Mississippi State versus the first half was that they weren't cycling in running backs every other play, right? They let them gain a little bit of momentum. I think that you need to do that, whether it's Raleek or whether it's Kanye. You need to let them, get their rhythm out there, touch the ball a couple of times and see what they can do. And then maybe adjust your touches and the percentage of who gets what going forward after that.
Lee Corso with an interesting question. What do you guys think the run-pass ratio should be for Sam and for Arizona State? It's different every year. I think for me, I think, honestly, like I have no issue with 50-50 or 45-55. I think probably leaning a little bit more in favor of the pass this year, simply because you do have Jordyn Tyson. But still, I think right now as it stands, like heading into week 3, it has been nowhere near that kind of split. I think the numbers in the second half against Mississippi State probably skew it to look a way that it hasn't felt for sure. It has like appeared like it's 70-30 in favor of the pass, when in reality, I think a 45-55 favored more toward the pass is what they should be doing. But again, I'm not the OC, Erik.
Not yet. We'll see.
Maybe one day.
We'll see. I think it's got to be some happy medium between NAU and the second half of Mississippi State. Right? I don't need Sam Leavitt throwing 40 times against NAU. And I don't need Sam Leavitt. I don't even know how many times he passed in the second half, right? But it wasn't that many. It needs to be a balance. And it's going to be it needs to be like a game-to-game thing, right? Like Mississippi State, you had to stop throwing the ball. Like you had no choice. You want to win this game? You got to stop throwing the ball. Maybe there's a game where the run defense gets shut down, right? I don't think that's really going to happen against like Baylor, who has had trouble stopping the run, especially running quarterbacks so far this year. Like maybe there's a game though where you just can't get moving on the ground. Hell, that happened with Cam Scatterboot. There were games where he was relatively contained for what you would expect from him. And you're going to need to pass the ball more. I just want them to be more in the moment with what works. It's kind of felt like the last couple of weeks, it's like, hey, we're going to do this. Until Mississippi State punched you in the mouth and you said, all right, we have to adjust. Like we don't have a choice, but we have to change it. I don't want to be playing a reactionary game. I want them to go out there, run the ball first, get comfortable, and see what happens from there. And if Sam Leavitt's dealing and Jordyn Tyson's getting 200 yards and, the secondary is getting cooked, like, okay, then you roll with that. I don't need a 45-55 split. I'm fine with 70-30 in that way. But if you're going up against Mississippi State and it's like the only offense that we're getting is on the ground, like you got to adjust like they did. I just wish that they would have adjusted earlier. They might have won that game if they did.
Yeah, I think that's 100% fair. Quickly getting to the last member of our Heat Index this week on the defensive side of the ball, somebody that I think just like from a confidence perspective and from the fan base's reaction could really use a big game, and that is corner, Javan Robinson, of course, somebody that almost felt like he was getting picked on a little bit when it came to big plays last week against Mississippi State. We've seen Javan Robinson come up time and again big for Arizona State, especially last season. Kenny really echoed his confidence in Javan Robinson this week. Erik, there is nobody better on the defensive side of the ball that I can think of that could just really use a big game.
I think we could have put the entire secondary on here, but yeah, Javan's been the subject of a lot of criticism so far, and I do think some of it has absolutely been fair. You know, Javan was known as the guy who just made big plays when big plays needed to happen, and now this year it's felt like the big plays have gone against him, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just how sports work, but also I think he has the talent level. I know we had M in chat saying that there's talent on this team except for the secondary. I mean, we were going into this season talking about the secondary as possibly the single most talented group on this roster, right? And Javan was a really key cog in that as well. It needs to be apparent that not only can he not get picked on, but that he can pick on the opposing offenses. And I think if one person in the secondary, right, whether it's Ghost or X or Keith or Javan or Montana, right, or Adrian Wilson, if somebody can play a little bit above from what they've been playing so far this season, that's going to have a cascading effect on the rest of them.
I think that's 100% fair. Again, just to recap, Sam Leavitt, Kanye Udoh, Javan Robinson, the players that we have on this week's Heat Index. We're getting to our guest, some predictions for Arizona State and Texas State, and taking a look at the rest of the games going on in the Big 12 after our second break. All right, guys. Look, whether you're gearing up for a game day, winding down after a hike up Camelback, or just trying to recover from another brutal sports loss, do it with Zen Leaf Dispose. Zen Leaf is your go-to spot for cannabis, flower, vapes, edibles, and more, all from the brands that you trust and love. My personal favorite part about Zen Leaf, aside from all the great deals, is the fact that they've got locations all across the valley, so it doesn't matter where you are. Chandler, Gilbert, North Phoenix, and more. It's super easy to swing by before kickoff or order online for express pickup, post, workout, and check this out. This is what Rubus has been harping on all week long. For a limited time, you guys can use promo code ZenLeaf for 50% off. That's not a typo. I'm not misspeaking here. 50% off just for listening. You can only use it once, so make sure to stock up with the amazing discount, whether you've been around the block or trying something for the first time. ZenLeaf is going to hook you up. And again, don't forget, for a limited time, only using promo code ZenPhoenix gets you 50% off a one-time purchase. ZenLeaf, great weed, great service every time.
Yeah, also great is Spencer's Appliances. One of the things that I love about our new office is now when we get to watch a post game, which we did against, Mississippi State, is we can have all these games up on these TVs that have been mounted for us, and they're big, they're massive. And Spencer's is the go-to place for anybody in the Valley to go and get their appliances. They have 11 locations across the Valley. They're employee owned and operated, which I always personally love. They have the largest selection of in-stock appliances, and they're Arizona's largest independent appliance dealer. And you can save money on appliances, which A, is rare, and B, any percentage off can be a large chunk of money when it comes to purchasing any big appliances. So you can use code PHNX5 for 5% off appliances, or you can use code PHNX10 for 10% off TVs, audio, and mattresses. I mean, these are big chunks of money, even if the percentage is small, because these are big purchases. You want to make sure that you can trust where you get it. It's like having a friend in the business. Visit spencerstv.com or any of their 11 Valley locations today. Use code PHNX5 or PHNX10 to get that discount.
Again, make sure you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button. And again, it goes a long way if you're listening on audio to drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Sharon says in the chat, in fairness to Javan, wasn't he covering a guy who's one of the fastest guys in college football? If so, that could have made him look more off than normal, or probably look much better this week. Yeah, he was indeed going up against one of the faster wide receivers in all of college football, according to that broadcast. And M in the chat saying he's literally playing 25 yards off the ball at some points. Trust me, M, you can ask Shane, you can ask Erik. There is nothing that I yell at the TV more than when I see a corner lining up 25 yards off the line of scrimmage. With that said, I do know that is not like Javan Robinson's decision. Javan doesn't choose to line up as far off
Hey, Coach, I'm going to be back here.
Does. Yeah, I'll be back here. If you need me, don't worry. I'll be
you want me up? Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate the suggestion, though.
That's not a Javan Robinson decision.
It's a valid complaint, though.
Trust me, though. I am just as angry about it as you are, Em. I yell at the TV every time I see it, almost every single play that I see it. So hopefully we see the Arizona State corners in the secondary and the team just look so much better than we've seen through the first couple of weeks so far, Erik. Did I freeze? Am I good?
You're good, Erik. Erik's frozen.
Oh no, Erik's frozen. Wait. Speak.
Hello, I'm here.
He's back. I
thought you guys froze. I thought you guys froze.
Man.
I didn't know that was on me.
Internet, man.
I didn't know that was on me, Coach.
Be better. Stop lining up 25 yards off the line, man.
I'm sorry. I just got nervous. Okay, I just got nervous because
also, Sharon, we might have some good news for you.
To watch a game with Totri. Everybody's invited to Totri's place.
Okay, calm down.
Okay, we ready to get a little Texas State preview, a little view from Texas themselves.
I need it, man. Let's see it.
Well, it's time to welcome on a friend of mine, somebody who I've jumped on with some of his stuff over there in Texas. His name is Andrew Zimmel, the co-host of Squaring Around, and I believe, I don't know if this is self-appointed, the president or the Texas State Sports Prez. Is this a self-appointed title, Andrew?
Look, you got to do what you got to do, right? Somebody has to give you the title. Why not? It's Magna Carta. It's given to by God, all right? The sports gods bestowed it upon me, all right? Texas State Sports Prez. No, thanks for having me on. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. Obviously, we've talked a little bit, especially leading up to this matchup specifically. How are you feeling confidence level wise, Texas State going on the road this year, taking on a right now struggling ASU team?
Well, that's funny. You should say that because ASU almost lost to Texas State last year in San Marcos. And I was like, well, they were one of the worst teams in the Big 12, Pac-12 then. Like, we'll be okay. And then they went to the college football playoffs. And I was like, oh, we almost beat a team that played really, really well throughout the rest of the season. Now you come into this game and it's like, Texas State's feeling pretty high off of a win last week against UTSA. I felt very nervous on the schedule on paper coming into this game, but now I feel a little bit less. The fans behind me have been like, Zimmel, you're too negative. You got to be more positive about this team. So I'm all in. I'm positive. I feel good going into this game on Saturday.
I'm interested to know what you think of Brad Jackson, because he's somebody as a quarterback right now for Texas State. I'm pretty sure GJ Kenny said the other day that he is his version of Tim Tebow here at Texas State. Do you echo that sentiment? What does the Texas State Bobcats have at quarterback in Brad Jackson?
Well, here's the thing, boys. I am one of those people that I don't anoint individuals before I, see it all laid out. I'll anoint myself. I'm not anointing the quarterback. The fan base, however, has taken to the internet to put AI, angel wings, and halos on Brad Jackson. This is prior to beating UTSA, that he was the savior of Texas State football, even after they've won 2 bowl games. No big deal. So I feel like this is a quarterback who, before the season, I said he was a 7-5 quarterback. He has 7-5 quarterback face. But now, look, you go into ASU and you win, I might be looking at a little different record. I like Brad Jackson. I don't love Brad Jackson, if that makes sense.
I think last year, at least what we referred to, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it felt like ASU was kind of like your guys' like Super Bowl, right?
Nah, come on, brother.
Well, so then going into this year, right? So going into this year, how important is this game specifically for you guys?
Here's the thing. A Super Bowl implies that I'm buying nachos, that I'm paying big money to see the ticket. It's the other way, fellas. You're paying us to come up there. You're splitting the pot. You're inviting us to get a paycheck.
There's a lot of yous and we's here. Nothing's coming out.
Anything.
The Bobcats town, man.
My point being, the idea that it's a Super Bowl for the Bobcats, let's relax there. It might be a Super Cats, not a Super Bowl. It is an important game, though. This is a benchmark game. You go and you beat a Power 4 team, a team that played in the College Football Playoffs last year. Yeah, I'm going to feel a little bit different about my Cats. But to say Super Bowl, let's relax there, all right? You know, nobody's getting out the party poppers for this one.
Oh, man. Look, we talked earlier about Brad Jackson, his weapon that's been having a phenomenal start to the season, Bo Sparks. He has really led the way for Texas State offensively. Just how much of a threat is he in this game against an Arizona State secondary that is struggling? And the other side of that question here, why isn't really anybody else getting involved in the passing game?
Well, he might be the real Sparky. Let's be completely honest here. Last year, Texas State had a guy named Joey Hobart, Joe Dirt. He played with no gloves. We loved him. Now another white receiver steps in there. It's almost like we're running a New England system in San Marcos. I didn't think that Bo Sparks would have the type of game he did against UTSA. He was the primary target of Brad Jackson. He's turned into more of a safety blanket, I would say, for the Texas State offense. Do I feel nervous going into this game against Arizona State? If you said to me, Zimmel, gun to your head, 55.5 yards, 2.5 touchdowns, over under, I'd probably pick the under, because at this point there's enough film to say, hey, let's not let that guy get open. But GJ Kenny is a pretty good schemer. He might scheme him open in some sets early. Why is nobody else getting involved? Nobody else needs to get involved. Texas State leaned on the run against UTSA, and against Eastern Michigan, he was wide open. Why would I throw it at anybody else?
I think when I'm looking at this team, right, and I see that they're playing good football, but one of the things I can't help but notice is on the defensive end, you know, there's a good amount of points getting put up against this team. What do they need to fix from your perspective, not just for this game, but going forward to clean up that side of the ball?
Well, the Texas State coaching staff's already told us that this is a bend, don't break defense, which as a fan, you got to love that, right? And as a gambler, you got to love betting the overs. What they need to fix, recruiting maybe? I don't know. The main problem right now is the linebacker core. A mobile quarterback, a team that likes to run the ball, Texas State's going to have trouble with. What they have been able to do, though, is win on the defensive line, getting pressure up the middle. And the secondaries, and again, at a bend, don't break defense, you got to be good there. The secondaries have been good. Corners and safeties have played very, very well for Texas State through 2 games, even if they're giving up some points.
Last question for me before Rubens takes over here. I'm curious on your end, more zooming out of this game specifically. There's been a lot of love and a lot of hype around GJ Kenny and what he's done with that Texas State program. What is he the long-term fix here? Like, is this what Texas State fans want long-term? And I guess from your perspective, what's the reality that GJ Kenny doesn't get swiped up here this coming offseason?
Don't put that bad juju on me, Ricky Bobby. Here's the deal. Texas State's going to the Pac-12. You guys know it. You love it. They're going to the zombie Pac-12. I have to imagine when those conversations first started with a contract negotiation and an extension, GJ Kenny every year gets another year added to his deal. The conversation had to be, hey, we're going to a bigger conference, which is going to add more revenue, which is probably going to add more money to your pocket. Am I worried about him leaving? Not out-of-state school. I don't think any out-of-state school will swipe him away. In-state, though, be careful what you wish for if you're the Baylor Bears or the Texas Tech Red Raiders or even Houston. I think in-state there's a concern, but I don't worry about him going to, let's say, another school outside of the state of Texas.
I got a couple more. The second to last one that I have is, do you see Texas State having a distinct advantage anywhere in this game positionally?
I don't. Distinct is a tough word, right? Because I don't think there's anything that Texas State necessarily does that's a letter grade ahead of Arizona State. I will say I think that GJ Kenny is giving you nothing but like zero bulletin board material. He came in and said, hey, they're a better team than us. They're probably more talented than us. They've got more money than us. They got better women than us. Like, I don't know. He said everything except that he's going to lose this game. I will say I like GJ on the sideline a little bit more than Kenny. I know everybody loves Kenny, right? I'm taking GJ on a slightest of edges. And I think Lincoln Perry, I've been giving the guy a lot of crap. He's a 6-year senior. He has more NIL deals in San Marcos than I think anybody else does, and he eats a lot of pizza. But the dude can play the sport. He's a really good running back. Is he better than Arizona State's running backs? I don't know if he's that much better, but I'm going to ride with my guy Link in this one.
I mean, listen, I think there will be some ASU fans that are like, how dare you say that? But it's it's a Texas State guy.
Which part? I think there's ASU fans that are going to be taking all of that.
Yeah, no, I will say this.
What do you want me to say? Like, I mean, like,
no, I don't blame you.
We'd be saying the same exact thing.
Yeah, listen. If all I'm saying is you gave the bulletin board material that your coach is refusing to give.
If Arizona State is like, let's say Arizona State's a B+ in college football, then Texas State's like a B- or C+. Like, it's not that much of a, to me, it's not that much of a difference. Now, if they come out and they beat Texas State by 1,000 points and we go back and we watch this video and go like, wow, that Zimmel guy's an idiot, that's totally on me. But I will say, I'm coming in feeling, look, it's a 9:30 kickoff Central Standard Time. This is our first little taste of what that Pac-12 After Dark's going to fill for us in the next couple of years.
The kickoff times are horrible, by the way. Sorry to cut you off. They're horrible. Get used to it.
But this is kind of like the weighting of the water, right? If Texas State goes in and beats Arizona State, they will have every single sports talk anchor talking about how great they are and anointing them and all that crap. That's completely fine. I'm coming in going, we won the only game on the schedule that I actually care about, UTSA. We go 1-11. No, I'm serious. Like, that's a rival school. Same way. If Arizona State beat Arizona every single year but lost the rest of the games, you feel okay. You'd be like, hey, we're winning our rivalry game, right? That's kind of how I feel about UTSA. I look at this game and say, just have fun. Don't get hurt. Win the Sun Belt Conference. And if you win the Sun Belt and you're the conference champion going clean, you might get a bid. You could be the 12th team. And that's really, as a group of 5 school, all you want to ask for. Like, just invite me to the dance, Cinderella. That's all I want.
That's all you want. We're talking to Andrew Zimmel, co-host of the Squaring Around podcast, the self-anointed sports prez of Texas State. On your way out of here, give us a prediction. What happens on Saturday?
I think it's going to be a great game. I do think that we bring out the jalapeno poppers. I'm not going to say it's a Super Bowl, though. I think that Texas State is competitive. I saw 15.5 points by some books. I don't know if it's 15.5. They've done a good job covering throughout the first 2 weeks. So I'll say they cover one more week. I say 3-0 in the books.
All right. Well, there we go. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrew. Again, check out his podcast, Squaring Around, covering all things Texas State. And we'll see you running for sports prez of Texas, the state as a whole, coming up next.
Hey, you never know. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
I love it. Look, he mentions Texas State's been pretty good covering the spread so far this season. Arizona State, on the other hand, hasn't covered at all yet through 2 games in 2025. Look, he gave his prediction. We'll give ours, not just on ASU and Texas State, but the rest of the games going on in the Big 12 on the other side of our final break.
It's clear that the sports prez of Texas State bleeds the Bobcats, and I bleed DFCU blue because I have been using Desert Financial Credit Union for my entire life. My parents have used it. My grandparents have used it. It's literally been in my family for generations. And no, that's not on the ad read copy. That is literally just the truth. And if you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. You can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase, including debit cards branded with ASU specifically. And for more than 84 years, they've been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and just making lives better. And they're putting their money where their mouth is, quite literally. So beyond helping you with checking, savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more, when you open up a free checking account online, they're going to give you $200. Yeah, they're going to give you $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200.
Look, normally with our PHNX partners, we tell you about all the different ways that they're trying to help you save money. We got a rare occurrence here. I'm going to tell you where you should spend your money. And that is, of course, Rally House. They're the go-to spot to shop for all your favorite local Arizona team gear with tens of thousands of products to shop from. You can shop any of their locations, Tempe, Mesa, Glendale today. Go check them out. Whether you're looking for new gear for a tailgate, maybe you've got a party that you're going to have at the house watching the game, or if you are going to Mountain America Stadium to watch the Sun Devils, well, again, go to Rally House, get some brand spanking new gear. They have hundreds of thousands of options for you. If you're an Arizona State fan, if you're a Diamondback fan, a Cardinal, a Sun, all of the things, Rally House has you covered. Make sure you find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com today. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. And Rubis. Sharon says I need some art on my walls.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of big dogging you when it comes to the setups right now.
Absolutely, man. No, like I'm 100% gonna own that, acknowledge it. You have a much better home setup than I do, and
I'm a big fan of that corner though. Whoever put that corner in really did a good job.
This corner.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Look at how that's a 90-degree angle, dude. That is
Well,
like,
not only is it a 90-degree angle, but then that 90-degree angle goes to like a 38-degree angle on the other side. Look at that. That's really nice.
I mean, we're getting into angles here, man.
JJ says Mo Odom signed poster. Maybe
Just
BJ Freeman
right here. Yeah, I was gonna get a BJ Freeman like bet slip right here and maybe put that. See how that goes on the wall. Any thoughts on?
I think just a BJ Freeman mural, maybe. Local artist.
I'm here for that.
But yeah, I mean, so do you have any like decorations in your room, or are you just like mental asyluming it? Like,
I mean, it's just like I don't have anything like on the walls. No, like I've got like furniture, obviously. Like I've got stuff around here. I just don't like. I mean, I've got stuff that I need to put up, but I haven't like. I didn't think
like there's some options on here where you can like do like a virtual background. We should put you in like a virtual background. I don't know where, but I think that would be fun.
Space. Send me to space, please. Please, I beg you, Rubis, send me to space.
Please, Lord, please.
Send me to space, man. Oh, man. Sharon,
that picture is in my office, actually. Now,
yeah, that would be a tough. I mean, Shane would know immediately who stole it just by the fact that I'd put it on my wall. So that might be a little tough for me, but we could talk artwork and interior design on another episode of the PHNX Sun Devils show. Rubis, let's go ahead and dive into our predictions for Arizona State and Texas State. What do you got? Did the Sun Devils get their second win of the year?
Yeah, I do think that they get their second win of the year, but Texas State does cover if it's 15.5. I have them going 41-27. I think ASU's offense is really going to get into a rhythm. I think Texas State, they have a pretty potent offense themselves. I think that a lot of those 27 points will come in the second half once ASU is up a decent amount, but I've got faith in this team still. If we're talking like we were after Mississippi State after this week, my next score prediction will not be this generous, but give me 41-27, undefeated at home still throughout the season.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. I think Arizona State gets the job done. I think they do it handedly. 38-21 is my score prediction. The Sun Devils winning by 17, so they would cover for the first time here this season. With that said, similar to you, I think Texas State has a very potent offense. I think Brad Jackson is a really solid quarterback, especially in the Sun Belt, and I think he is going to come to Tempe with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, obviously with all eyes on Sam Leavitt. So him, Bo Sparks, I expect to continue to heat up their connection as they've done so far this season, but I don't think it'll be enough to beat an Arizona State squad that I feel will look much different than it has through the first 2 weeks of the season. But it's not the only game that we've got going on in the conference, obviously. Before we get to the rest of the slate, Shane, do you have a score prediction?
35-24 ASU.
So we all have ASU scoring more than 30 plus points in this.
Yeah, but I don't have them covering.
Don't have them covering. That's a shame.
I also don't have them covering.
I haven't seen enough.
I think that's valid. That's valid.
Not enough.
Okay. Yeah, really bad. Moving on to some of the other games going on in this conference. We got two tonight. Colorado versus Houston, Kansas State versus Arizona. Which way we leaning?
Ooh, give me. I know Damon's in the chat. It's gonna be bad. I think Kansas State beats Arizona. I think it ends up being a good game. I think Kansas State probably wins by like 3 points ish. This is just like it's the definition of a must win for Kansas State. Like they gotta get something. And Arizona's had a good start to the season, much closer than what you would have predicted this game to be going into the season. So I think that has potential to be maybe the game of the week, honestly, as far as like just it being that close and back and forth. And that one's at Arizona as well. And then Colorado, Houston, man, that's interesting. It's the Staub show, man. I feel like Colorado needs to win that game, but Houston is a Willie Frisky team. you know?
Give me Colorado. I think Colorado gets it done on the road against Houston, picks up a big win here. We'll see. We'll see what their quarterback situation looks like. Do we see the other quarterbacks? Do we see Salter? Do we see Lewis outside of just Staub? I think all Colorado fans are really interested in what that looks like this evening, and I'm with you. I do think Kansas State beats Arizona, but I do think it is a significantly closer game than maybe we would have discussed 2 or even 3 weeks ago at this point, which again, I think is a massive win for Brent Brennan and this program to just sit here and say week 3, hey, Kansas State, you're at home. The Wildcats are at home, or I guess they're both the Wildcats. The Arizona Wildcats are at home in this one. But I do think Kansas State gets the job done here, probably in a 3 or 4 point win. It's going to be a close one all the way through.
Without looking, what is the line in the Houston, Colorado game?
Oh, at Houston. They're going to do Colorado by a touchdown.
I'm going to go 5 points in favor of Colorado.
Well, you guys are both wrong. Houston's favored by 4.5.
Wow. The books know something, man.
That's wow. Honestly, that is surprising. I'm sure that the NVR Buffs guys did an entire episode on that.
This is not gambling advice, but if somebody were to force you, gun to your head, to put a teaser down for this college football slate tonight, I would advise you to throw in the Wildcats of Arizona to plus 7.5, Colorado to plus 10.5, and the over in the New Mexico UCLA game. Just if you had to, not gambling advice.
If you had to, if it was,
if you were like, I've got to do this.
Yeah. Well, I thankfully don't have to, so I won't be doing so. But I trust Shane and his advice when it comes to that. Couple of other matchups that we have in this conference. Samford taking on the Baylor Bears. Do we see Samford giving Baylor a run for their money here in Waco?
Sam that's going to give Baylor a run for their money is in week 4. No, I mean, they got to win by like 40. I didn't even know. I mean, I knew Samford has a football team, but they don't really have a football team.
Yeah, I think that's valid. Oregon State. Of course, we got Clint in the chat. Did the Beavs get it done over Texas Tech? Are we power of friendship, or are we money and greed on this one?
I want to pick Oregon State, but Texas Tech's going to win that game.
Texas Tech is going to win that game. I'm sorry, Clint. I'm sorry you have to go through that. Pitt versus West Virginia. This could be an interesting matchup. I don't know about you. I've got Pitt in this one. I don't like what I've seen from the Mountaineers so far.
No, I mean, it's a rivalry game, so you never really know. This is the single most expensive ticket to any Big 12 game this weekend is West Virginia Pitt. That being said, I feel like I wasn't like super high on West Virginia coming into the year. I thought that they would be at least fun, and so far they haven't been. I think
opposite of fun.
Yeah, I think Pitt wins that game for sure.
Northwestern State at Cincinnati, the game that nobody's watching. But what do you have in this one?
I mean, it's got to be Rip Sorsby.
It's got to be, right? It has to be. There's no chance. There's no chance Ripped Brendan Sorsby lose to this. Ripped Sorsby is just like a great name. Like if his first name,
Ripped Sorsby and Bear Bachmeier are just great quarterback names.
Those are the best quarterback names. Like, get rid of the name Brendan. You are now Ripped Sorsby from now on. That is by far the best name of any quarterback in this conference here. Yeah, I think Cincinnati gets it done.
And I think we're going to keep getting it done in overtime. If you're watching on TV, the party always continues over at gophnx.com.
Joe in the chat wants to know Troy or Memphis in this one.
It's got to be Memphis.
Rubus will never pick Troy, Joe. If they had beat Clemson. By the way, that's a 9 a.m. kick. Our time. I mean, Troy's got him exactly where they want him, man.
Yeah.
At 9 a.m., exactly where they want him. Iowa State versus Arkansas State, a rare one here. You have Iowa State on the road against Arkansas State.
That's so weird.
That's a weird one.
So weird. I mean, Iowa State's going to win that game. They're going to be 4-0. They continue to be at the top of the Big 12 until somebody else snatches that from them.
Yeah. Utah versus Wyoming. I'm going to go with Devin Dampier and Kyle Whittingham on this one.
There's no reason not to. I mean, they've been on an absolute roll. Interesting to see how they are once conference play starts. I believe, UCLA obviously is a Power 4 school, but they've had one of the weaker non-con schedules. I'm interested to see what happens when they start playing some of the better teams in this conference, but you got to give credit to Dampier, Whittingham, that entire program. I mean, it's not shocking that Utah is good again, but they're good again, at least so far.
They are good again so far. What about Abilene Christian taking on a TCU team that hasn't played in now over a week?
I mean, was it Tech Abilene Christian last year, or was it TCU Abilene Christian last year?
I think it was Tech. It was Tech Abilene Christian week 1.
Yeah, that game was close. I don't know if you get another miracle from Abilene Christian. I think Texas. TCU is going to just be ready to play football. Obviously, you're still sort of riding off that high of week 1, but you're ready to go play again in a much weaker opponent. They're at home for the first time this season as well. Maybe they start off a little slow, but I think they end up winning that game handedly.
Well, look, I think there are plenty of fun matchups going on in the conference this week. Of course, all eyes here are on Sam Leavitt and the Sun Devils taking on Texas State tomorrow night. Of course, we will have a pregame and postgame show for you right here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the like button on your way out. And that is going to do it for today's edition of the PHNX Sun Devils show. No Hot or Not this week. It will return next week on the program. If you enjoyed today's content, give the show a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the man with a better background at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. And you can follow the man behind the Mac, the Deli Man, at Shane Deef.
Just ready for football as always.
And we will see you guys on Saturday again for a pregame and a postgame show. But as always, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.